Hi, welcome to my bookworm sanctuary. I'm Bianca. This is Eve, and today I wanted to do my end of November wrap up. Oops, someone's all right. You can go down. Up. I've got my chair sitting right here, and she's basically just jumped straight up onto my chair. So anyway, with my November wrap up. I'm sorry if I sound really sinusy today, and now there is cat hair floating everywhere. Basically with my end of month wrap up. So with my end of month wrap up, I probably should have given you a mid-month wrap up, but I didn't. I'm really sorry if you can see all the floating cat hair because she's right here. But basically I wanted to do my end of month wrap up. So in November, I really wanted to participate in the 30 and 30, try to read as many manga as I could. I didn't read a single manga. So I totally failed. 100% failed. Epically. So yeah, sorry about that. I didn't read a single manga. I don't know. I just didn't. I guess I didn't feel like it. I was very, very mood reader month. I'm usually a mood reader anyway, but this month for November was very mood reading. Anyway, so I didn't end up reading any manga. I'm really sorry. And then I did also let you know of a TBR, 3 books of my physical TBR I wanted to read in November as well. Didn't read any one of those either. So I epically failed for November, monumentally. But I actually read quite a lot, and I think I read the most amount of pages I've ever read in a month so far this year. We'll see in December, but I honestly think I'll drop off in December. So yeah, I didn't read anything I said I was going to read. I'm not surprised. Every time I tell myself I'm going to read something, I don't do it. I seem to do something else. But I don't know why, but I definitely went on a motorcycle binge hugely. I read a lot of motorcycle club books in November. I don't know why. I felt like it and I just ran with it and I kept reading them. And yeah, so we've got some books to go through today. So we'll just get straight into my stats like I usually do, and then I'll run down the books as quickly as I can. So I want to do this as quickly as I can because I have 26 books to talk about. So in November, I read 25 books. But technically, it's 26 because I'm still halfway through a book. Queenie and her Krakens? Queenie and the Krakens? Anyway, I'm still reading that, so I'm not, pardon me, I'm not counting it. So with the books I read was 25. One is continued, and then 26 of them were all new reads, so I didn't reread anything this month. Out of that, that was 6,469 pages read. Out of those, there was one audio, and the rest were all KU. So they were all Kindle Unlimited ebooks. Then out of those, there was one 2-star. I think it's one of the first 2 stars that I've ever had in a year. 9 3 stars, 14 4 stars, and 1 5 star. So there was a lot of books that were just not quite a 5-star, but they were still really good. And out of those, there was 1 Omegaverse, 1 Contemporary, 2 Reverse Harem, 1 Paranormal, 1 Ice Hockey, 1 Alien, and like I said, I went on a motorcycle binge and I read 19 of them. In the beginning of the month, at the end of we'll start that again. At the end of October, I read Addison Jane, the Phoenix Club Girl Diaries books 1 and 2, which I quite enjoyed them. So then I moved on to Avery, which is the 3rd book. Basically, Avery is a club girl. So, she sleeps with all the guys. Was quite happy with the fact that she's a club girl. She's got no problems with it. The guys offer her protection, help her go through school and everything. And yeah, so it's kind of a good setup for her. She quite enjoys it. And she has had a thing with shotgun for quite a while. So Shotgun is the president of the MC, and he has some secrets. And it's a constant push and pull between him and Avery, and he keeps pushing Avery away. Yeah, I liked it. I really did. I really enjoyed it. It was good. But then I moved on to Ravage. So Ravage is an Untamed Sons book 1. So I pretty much read the entire series. And this series is extremely, or it's a lot darker than I usually read. Sorry if you can hear Eve. She's in a funny mood this morning. Aren't you, baby? Yeah, you are. You say hello, everybody. Yeah. Okay, you can get down. So, with the Untamed Sons, they are more darker, definitely. So, just watch the trigger warnings for the whole series. There's a lot of rape and things like that. Can you not do that, please? No, don't do that. So basically, with Ravage, mention of child leukemia, rape, the mental struggles with all of that going on. But basically, Sasha left about 3 years ago. Ravage loved her, but was kind of like, oh, well, see you later, bitch. You know, you weren't who I thought you were. And Sasha shows up and basically is like, I need help. My daughter needs a bone marrow transplant and I need to test the father to make sure that she is or he is a match. I'm sorry, you probably can hear even her litter. But basically, she's like, I need to find out who the father is. Is it Ravage or is it Ravage's brother Sin? Sin is a piece of work, so there's some issues there, and Ravage goes off the deep end, and then it's him sort of realising the truth and getting a connection back with Sasha and starting a connection with his daughter, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it enough I went on to the second book anyway. So the second one was Nox. Again, like I said, watch the trigger warnings with this whole series. It's darker than I usually read. I didn't think it was anything too heavy, but that's me personally. It's up to you. But basically, Lucy. Lucy was around because Lucy's a friend of Sasha's, and she's been helping Sasha for the last few years. And at the end of the book, end of Ravage, basically, Lucy shows up at the compound at the motorcycle club's place, and crashes her car into the gates, basically, but she's covered in blood. So something seriously wrong is going on. And Knox is really drawn to Lucy, and Lucy has a lot of secrets, and I really liked this. He has a lot. Knox is falling for Lucy, and he stands up for Lucy, and he almost. I wouldn't say he betrays the club, but he definitely puts Lucy first. And then Lucy shoots him massively in the foot. I mean that figuratively. But basically, Knox just ends up questioning his loyalties and all this, but Lucy is, yeah, she has secrets. I really enjoyed it. I really did. Then I moved on to Damon. So this one, again, watch the trigger warnings for this. This is rape is heavily mentioned in this. So Knox is a lot older than Briella. And Briella has some demons going on at the moment. She's got a lot of mental struggles, but she's also hitting the drink really hard. So she's almost becoming an alcoholic. Is depending too much on alcohol. Is just drowning in her feelings, and she's only 19, and other people are noticing there's something not quite right with Briella, but Damon especially is noticing something's not right with her at all. And I guess he sort of just inserts himself and is trying to figure out what's wrong, and then everything goes out. And look, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole series. Then Levi. So Levi is book 4. So with Levi, Noelle is also a club girl, and she's been with the club for a while now, and she basically has secrets again, and she wants to destroy the MC basically, but she's falling for Levi, and Levi's falling for her, but her her lies are going to get her killed. And she's falling hard for Levi, and Levi's falling hard for Noelle, but again, shit blows up. But look, I really love the whole thing. Then Titch. I read Titch. So Titch is book 5. He's the road captain. So again, watch trigger warnings with this. Bit of child abuse in this one as well. But basically, Titch's ex-wife Rachel has remarried to a guy for the last. I think they've been married for about a year. And it's obvious her new husband doesn't particularly like her boys, and her boys are teenagers, sort of. Like, I think one's like 13, the other one's like 10, something like that. Anyway, Teacher's always loved Rachel, and then things happen with Rachel's new husband, and yeah, I don't really want to tell you much more. But obviously, just keep an eye out on the trigger warnings for the whole series. But it's a second chance romance. And yeah, look, I enjoyed it. And it's just basically Rachel never always understood exactly what the the club meant to Titch. And the Untamed Sons, the way they pulled together to help her and her boys, sort of, yeah, just makes her reevaluate the whole situation. Then there's Fury. So Fury, I actually had a lot of, what's the word? Anticipation for. I hopes, I guess. Kind of fell slightly flat, but I still really liked it. So watch the trigger warnings again with this one. But basically, Fury is the sergeant of arms, and he's the enforcer, I think. And he's a little unhinged, a lot unhinged actually. If he loses the plot, everybody sort of, whew, get away from Fury. And a few years ago, he was basically told to kill Amalia because she witnessed something she shouldn't have. But he decides not to terminate her life. Instead, he starts stalking her. And so for the last few years, he's just been watching her from a distance, has never actually had a conversation with her. And she knows he's there. She knows he's been stalking her. She knows he watches her. And she's kind of comforted by that. And then her brother shows up. And then she sort of has her first conversation with Fury. And her brother ends up getting her in a lot of deep water, a lot of problems. So she goes to Fury for help, and Fury helps her. Fury reminds me a lot of Zadist from the Black Dagger Brotherhood, where he's just got a lot of mental struggles he needs to get over first before he can love himself to love her, if that makes sense. But yeah, so Fury's got struggles, a lot of struggles, and I liked it. I did. I liked it. Then I read Bailey. Bailey is the 7th book in the series. And this one I quite liked. So Bailey is the sister of Knox, and she is a widow. Her husband passed away a few years ago on a run for the club. But she's been associated with the club ever since, and she's got 2 young daughters. Anyway, she goes out for a night in town, gets kidnapped. So the Untamed Sons have had some dealings with this, I guess, mob family called the Frasers. And Zeke is slightly unhinged as well. So they're basically, the Untamed Sons asked for the Frasers' help, or Zeke's help, to retrieve Bailey, because they're not. So another club, I think, has Bailey, and the Untamed Sons are not going to do what the people want. I can't think of the words. Sorry, I'm really brain dead today. I'm not sure if you can tell. So Zeke basically double crosses the Untamed Sons. He goes to get Bailey because Bailey's going to be sold into sex trafficking because the Untamed Sons are not doing what these guys want. So they're going to get rid of her. And so Zeke comes in and he kidnaps her. And then he double crosses the Untamed Sons and keeps Bailey. So I really liked this, but to some point I wish there was more. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I just wish there was a little bit more to it. Then I read Faith and the Dead End Devils. I have been waiting for this book is a slight understatement. The moment I finished Bad Alpha last year, I was like, I want to read Faith's story now. Faith's story I enjoyed. I did. I just don't know what it was. Kind of felt a little flat for me, which was honestly disappointing. But I still really loved it. It was still a solid 4-star book. Basically, Faith has been sold into Omega sex trafficking, and she's been sold to this motorcycle club. And so the Dead Devils intercept this delivery to their rival MC club and realize it's not what they thought it was. It's actually a person. It's Faith. It's an Omega. Obviously feral Omega who has been through some trauma, so now she's just instinctual at the moment. And so Bear, he has had experience with Omegas and getting them through their heat. It's obvious that Faith is very soon going to go through her heat, and basically when they first meet, she doesn't even think. She bites Bear. That's sort of how you make a mating bond thing in this universe. So, but only an alpha can do that, not an Omega. So it kind of like forms a very fragile tether bond between her and Bear. And it's just them trying to figure out what to do, because the Dead End Devils are a motorcycle club, but they're not a pack. So it's everybody trying to decide that they're a pack. Pardon me, sexy times, obviously. I enjoyed it. I don't know. I don't know what it was. It just felt a little flat for me, which is really, really disappointing. Oh, pardon me. I'm sorry. And then number 10, Cavalier. Look, doesn't matter what it's called. I didn't like it. It was the 2-star. I wanted to like this. Did I want to like this something badly? And I enjoyed the first, I don't know, half, maybe 1/3. I don't know. It was doing okay. It wasn't the best, but it was doing okay. And then I don't know what happened. It just went completely downhill. And I don't mean this. I don't like saying, oh, this book is badly written or bad plot or blah blah blah. Because at the end of the day, the author has tried their hardest. They've put blood, sweat, and tears into this work. And I don't necessarily want to go, you suck. But this book wasn't for me. Definitely not for me. Creed, it had a great premise. Creed was like this enforcer dude for this really elite sex club. And what's her face? Alicia, she witnesses a crime she shouldn't have witnessed or something. Ends up, quitting from her job, and Creed gets her a bartending job in this sex club. And it's just them starting a relationship, and he's meant to be a bit, dark, broody, mysterious, grumpy, blah, blah, blah. He's just a fucking douche. And she got stupider. Like, you're meant to get more intelligent as you get older, not the other way around. She was so freaking stupid. I can't even. Spoiler alert. Massive spoiler alert. So if you don't want to hear, maybe skip ahead a little bit. It's a surprise baby. And it wasn't even a good surprise baby. Like, for fuck's sake, she started to get sick very early on. Her brain never even thought, oh, I'm missing my period. That's a red flag. I'm having unprotected sex. That's a red flag. I'm now pregnant with a guy that's emotionally unavailable. The whole thing just annoyed me. It really did, and I don't know why I finished it. I think it was the only audio book I read for the month. So I was listening to it, and I think I was painting. And I think I had paint in my hands, honestly, so I was like, oh, I'll just keep listening to it. It wasn't overly long either, but it was, yeah, not very good. Then I read another motorcycle club romance book. So with Harmony, it's a club girl's diary, and I do think I probably should have read this series before the Phoenix Club Girl series, but it really didn't matter too much, I don't think. Again, watch the trigger warnings, but Harmony is a club girl, and it's kind of insta love. And Kit is a president from another chapter, and he came down to basically celebrate his new president status with another chapter, and he sees Harmony and he realizes straight away she's old lady material. She's mine. She's coming home with me. That's the end of that. Harmony has some issues. Obviously her and Kit are hooking up really quickly, so her whole life has been thrown for a loop pretty much in 2 days. So she's a little bit wary of Kit, and then her life is threatened, and Kit basically can't protect her a couple of times, and she gets into more trouble, and I enjoyed it. Then I moved on to Chelsea. Again, watched the trigger warnings, but her parents were killed when she was really young, and she just likes the freedom and the security of being a club girl for the brothers. And basically, the president, Optimus, really wants Chelsea, and they've been pushing and pulling each other for a while. And then things start coming out about her past and, yeah, secrets. Then I moved on to another motorcycle club series. I think I read like 4 series all up, or bits of 4 series. So this one's called Charge. It's Steel Bones Motor Club book. I liked this. I did think Kayla was a little naive and stupid in certain aspects, but I kind of believed her naivety because, yeah, it made sense. Watch the trigger warnings in this. But Kayla's a single mum, so she's 21. She has just moved into a dump, a really not nice place on a river, I think, and meets this nice old man next door, and his son is called Charge, and Charge is part of the motorcycle club. Sorry, one of my earrings just fell out. And so Charge is attracted to Kayla pretty much straight away, and then he notices Jimmy, and he's like, shit, this chick has a kid. Goodbye. So he tries to run away, but he just keeps getting pulled back because she is the neighbor of his dad and all that, and his dad is taking a liking to Jimmy, and Jimmy is such an old soul for a 6-year-old, and he's quite bright, and I really loved Jimmy and his aspect. And Kayla, I enjoyed Kayla. She was a very strong woman. Life was just being a bitch to her. You know how when you're broke, life just seems to want to continuously kick you. One thing after another just seems to happen, and you can't seem to catch a break. I understand how she feels. But poor Kayla is struggling, and her father is not nice at all. So her mother passed away when she was quite young, and she has a stepmother. And basically, her father never believed her and believes that she was this promiscuous kid and fell pregnant at 15. And it's obvious that her stepmother wants to be the mother of Jimmy, and they're really, really heinous people, and they're just continuously kicking Kayla, basically, mentally. So, yeah, I enjoyed this. I just think there was a bits of it that was a little stupid. Like, she was a bit sexually naive, but I kind of believed it, but I kind of didn't, if that makes sense. Because of her situation, everything she was going through and everything she's been through and blah, 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 I really did believe, yeah, some of her naivety. If that is even the word. And then I read Nicole's story. So this is the second book in the Steel Bones MC. And Nicole is kind of like Fury. Um, he's the unhinged kind of guy in the club and a great fighter, I guess. And basically Story, that's her name, Story. Story is a stripper, but she and Nicole have known each other for a while, since they were teenagers, and he came to her defense and helped her. And she's more or less been in love with him ever since, but he keeps pushing her away, but he's obviously attracted to her. And she just keeps getting kicked, not, she keeps getting pushed back by Nicole, and, she wishes she had more strength to, push him away and stay away. But she keeps, wanting him to come back. And, Nicole's older, so there's that aspect of it. And she understands he's dangerous, but she doesn't really care. But yeah, I enjoyed Nicole's story. Then I read Blizzard. So with Blizzard, this is another Club Girl Diaries book, 3. So basically, his mother left when he was a teenager. His father was an alcoholic, a bit abusive. And basically, Rose betrayed the club badly. And Blizzard and Chelsea were really hurt by Rose in Chelsea's story. And so you sort of do need to read Chelsea's story to understand Blizzard and Rose's story. And, Rose, yeah, she betrayed the club. And now she's kind of back in town, and she overhears the conversation and hears about this young girl in trouble and wants to help. So she sort of is trying to infiltrate another club to help the brothers to sort of make up for everything that she sort of did. And Blizzard is betrayed. Is betrayed by her. It's just felt he doesn't know how to feel about her, and yeah, I loved it. Then there's Hadley. So Hadley is book 4. And Hadley's husband is looking for her, basically. And she had ties. She came in Blizzard's story. She came in, basically started with the club. And she and Leo had this push and pull pretty much straight away. And Leo is a single father in the club. And his wife passed away shortly after she gave birth to their daughter a couple of years ago. So Leo and his daughter love Hadley, and there's that. But Hadley has an abusive husband who's looking for her, and so there's tension there, and all that sort of comes to a head a bit. But she never expected to fall in love with Leo or the club or Leo's little daughter or anything like that. She didn't expect to have a life in the club. She just enjoyed being a club girl, but yeah. Then I read Family. So Family is book 5, and it's basically just an anthology of all the couples. It's a slice of life. There's talk of surrogacy, infertility, and a few other little things. So just watch the trigger warnings, but I really enjoyed it. It was good. Then I read Steel. So Steel is a Brackenridge Rebels MC. So another MC, but this is basically Sienna. Sienna? Yeah, Sienna is really broke. Her father just passed away, but left her a few things, properties, cars, stuff like that in this small town. And she happens to also own the motorcycle club's clubhouse. So she wants to sell it to them, and there's all that going on. And there's issues there with her ex, which is kind of sad. So yeah, that just sort of all goes to a head and stuff happens there. And then I read Malicious. Malicious was okay. I guess it was okay. I honestly can't remember much about Malicious. It was just another motorcycle club book that I was reading, and they all started to blur together. It wasn't. I don't think it was overly that good, but honestly, I can't remember it that much. Finnier, I don't know, but Charm. He basically his ex-wife passed away, and then he fell in love with the neighbor or something like that. And look, it was a little too stupid, and I didn't like the writing. So then I read Single Dad's Club. So Single Dad's Club. This was okay, but it had its moments of stupidity. She never was going to tell them she was pregnant too, which I didn't like. She more or less shows up by accident after having, one of those bad mother days, where everything just seemed to go wrong. And she went to the wrong club, basically. This church ends up having sex with 3 guys, and it's them just sort of into. Look, I did like a lot of this, with them integrating, and they've all got kids, and it's little family, big family sort of thing, and how that all works. But yeah, she was really stupid about the pregnancy. She found out she was pregnant and never was going to tell them, and that was that because of assumptions and assumptions. Make an ass out of you and me, but whatever. Then I read The Tyrant Alpha's Rejected Mate. I really enjoyed this. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. Basically, what was his name? Killian. Killian was a bit of a douche, but didn't really mean to be a douche. So Una basically finds out one night straight away that her fated mate is Killian, but Killian rejects her. She is not a very strong member of the pack, and he rejects her basically. And the poor thing is heartbroken, and she's trying to pick her life back up, and Killian is confused. He just doesn't like. He's like, if she was my fated mate, I'd know. I do think he could have grovelled just a little bit more, but I do think the way he grovelled and the way he came to realise what Una means to him, I just thought it was sweet. It was good. I enjoyed it. Then I read Colt, another motorcycle club book. I promise I've got like 4 left. So with Colt and Cassidy, basically in Steele's book, basically, what's her face? That's not helpful, people. Sienna's cousin got kidnapped by her ex, and Cassidy is rescued by the club and by Colt. And Colt and Cassidy start this thing, and it's just her just trying to get over all the trauma that she's been through. Her life is not the best, and all that sort of stuff. Oh, look, I enjoyed it. It was good. Hi, editing Bianca here. Sorry, I'm pretty sure I am getting a cold or something. I don't know. My throat hurts. My sinuses still hate me. Let's ignore that. And the fact that I look like shit. But I wanted to interact. Interact? No, not the word I wanted. I wanted to interject quickly and just say that with Colt, watch the trigger warnings for homophobicness in this. And I just didn't really say that this book hit all the feels for me. It really did. I personally have a couple of gay family members, and I couldn't imagine not accepting them for them. They're the same person I grew up with. Doesn't matter who they love to me. I don't care. I love them. That's the end of that. And you do you. I'm a huge believer of that. Do what makes you happy. And if it's not hurting anybody else, I don't see the problem with it. So with Colt, I just want to say, spoiler alert, he does have. Colt grew up in an extremely highly religious way. He grew up Amish. Amish. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. And me myself, I just don't understand how you couldn't accept people for them. But I can sort of see it from Colt's point of view. I mean, he didn't know any other way. He just was sort of spouting what he'd been taught. And yeah, that harmed his loved one quite a lot. And it was just heartbreaking. It really was heartbreaking. So just keep an eye out on that. But I do think it was well done. Heartbreaking. And yeah, Colt does realise his mistake, and that's why he leaves where he grew up and the lifestyle and all that. But yeah, just be aware of the be aware of the non-support for the LGBTQ community. But I will say, like Colt's not homophobic. Homophobic? Did I just say homophobic? I meant homophobic. He just, product of his upbringing. Anyway, that's what I wanted to quickly say. Talk to you soon. I think I'll probably continue on, but I've read so many Motorcycle Club romances books. They all just sort of are merging together a little bit. Then I read Bull's Duchess. This is another Motorcycle Club romance, but this one, pardon me, I enjoyed this. I just think it needed editing, something chronic. Like, it was really bad. The daughter, she changed her name, like even in one sentence, went from Harley to Harlow in one sentence. I'm like, oh, can't you edit? Like, what is her name? Harley, Harlow? Like, no one can make up their mind. 1 minute they're calling her Harley, next to them, that annoyed me. So there was a bit of editing problems there. I enjoyed it to a point. Like, it was good. It was just, it wasn't very well edited. Sort of waffled on in spots. And I enjoyed it, but I didn't. Honestly, towards the end, when Harley changed her name from Harley to Harlow to Harley to Harlow to Harlow to Haley, they lost me then. Then I read High Rise. Was it High Rise? No, High Risk Rookie. This is part of the Vancouver Wolves ice hockey thing I've been reading by Odette Stone. I enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this compared to the other one I read with the surprise baby. This one was actually really cute. So basically, I think her name is Krista. Krista? Yeah. So Krista, he's about this rookie who has been going through some problems and is basically off surfing somewhere. And so she goes to try to sign him as a client. And basically they're at a bar just having a drink, and they have a shooter each. And then it turns out those shooters are full of drugs. So yeah, they end up having a wild night. And things happen, and it's just basically him having to try to. He's trying his best to get his hockey career off the ground. He's very talented, extremely talented. So Levi just has got a bit of a temper problem. There's this other rookie that is, pushing all these buttons. And then there's that thing going on with him and Krista, which no one knows about, and they're trying to keep it really on the down low. And it all, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy this series. I really do, actually. Yeah, I didn't enjoy, I think it was Penalty Box, but I honestly can't remember what that one was called. Micah and What's-Her-Face, they ended up with a surprise baby. And they didn't even handle it well, so, nah. But I really did enjoy this. This was good. And then finally we're at the end. Yay! Host by Octavia Wilde. So basically with Host, I had read Nepenthe, which is the first book, and it was like 120 odd pages, and it was 3 short stories in one. Very erotic. The first story has no consent whatsoever, but that issue does sort of come up later. I liked Host. I really did. It was more, so it was nearly 200 pages, I think, and it was based on the one couple, and he was one of the Nepenthe scientists, medical people. So the only problem I probably had with this, it was extremely erotic and sexy and tentacles, fluid and all that. Really enjoyed it. But I just felt it was a bit too, because they were both scientists and it was just too analytical, I guess. And there was just aspects of it that I sort of was pulled out of the moment because of the writing. It was a bit weird the way it was written, but I really liked it. But I felt like I, I wanted more emotional progress, I guess, or something. I don't know. But I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. So, and then that was it. Yay! So I read quite a few books in November. Like I said, cat's just come back into the room. Hi, Evie. And yeah, that was basically all the books that I read in November. Sorry I didn't read any manga. I'm really sorry. Hopefully I'll get to some of my physical TBR, but we'll see. Yeah. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. And Eve and I will see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.